June 25, 2006. Frankenstadion, Nuremberg, Germany. A round of 16 match at the FIFA World Cup that would become infamous, not for the brilliance of play, but for the chaos, the aggression, the cards, and the controversy. Portugal versus Netherlands, forever remembered as the Battle of Nuremberg, often called the dirtiest match in World Cup history. In this video, we'll relive every crucial moment. How it started, how it spiraled out of control, how Portugal still scrapped a 1-0 win, and how this match left a stain on both sides, and on football itself. To understand why this match boiled over, we need context. In 2006, Portugal were a strong side, led by coach Luís Felipe Scolari, packed with talented midfielders and attackers. The Netherlands, under Marco van Basten, featured skill and ambition. Portugal advanced from Group D. The Netherlands finished second in Group C, setting up this round of 16 meeting. The tension of knockout football, national pride, and high expectations all contributed to the boiling point. The referee appointed, Valentin Ivanov of Russia. He would go on to become infamous for this match. In the stadium of Frankenstadion, with about 41,000 in attendance. From kickoff, things would escalate, and no one, perhaps not even Ivanov, anticipated how far. The match began under a cloud of tension. Within the first 2 minutes, Dutch midfielder Mark van Bommel was booked for a late tackle. Few would have guessed that would be a mild moment compared to what was coming. Just minutes later, around the 7th minute, Khalid Boularouz flew into a heavy challenge on Cristiano, forcing Cristiano off injured. Boularouz received a yellow. Many observers later called this the spark that lit the tinder. Portugal's attacking threats Pauleta, Figo, Manish were cautious but probing. In the 23rd minute, a move broke the deadlock. Pauleta slipped the ball to Manish, who danced past a defender and struck a low shot from about 16 meters into the net. 1-0 to Portugal. Up to that point, the match had already grown messy. Fouls, confrontations, arguing with the referee. Soon, it began to burst at the seams. As halftime approached, the tension peaked. Costenha, for Portugal, handled a through ball and picked up a second yellow, triggering a sending off just before the break. That left Portugal with 10 men heading into halftime. In that same interval, Deco was already under scrutiny from the referee for persistent fouling and dissent. He walked a tightrope. Meanwhile, on the Dutch side, collisions and stuffy challenges were mounting. The stage was set for a brutal second half. If the first half was nasty, the second half was chaos. With Portugal already a man down, the Dutch sensed an opportunity, but they had to break through a resolute defense while keeping their cool. They would fail. Early in the second half, tempers flared. Luís Figo reportedly headbutted Van Bommel in a melee. Whether intentional or reflexive, it added fuel to an already burning fire. Then, in the 63rd minute, Khalid Boularouz received his second yellow for a foul on Figo and thus was sent off. That reduced the Netherlands to 10 men. Moments later, Deco, already walking a fine line, made a wild tackle on Dutch defender Heitinga, then proceeded to waste time, earning his second booking and a red card with around 12 minutes left. Portugal were down to 9. In injury time, Giovanni van Bronckhorst received his second yellow and was also sent off, bringing the match to 9 versus 9 in the dying moments. Meanwhile, Wesley and Rafael had earlier been booked, as had many on the Portuguese side like Figo, Petty, Nuno Valente, and Ricardo. The referee, Valentin Ivanov, had by now shown a record 16 yellow cards and 4 red cards in a single match, the most in any FIFA tournament game. As the final whistle approached, the match had collapsed into spectacle over sport. Scuffles, players going down, constant stoppages, disagreements, and a surreal atmosphere. Yet Portugal held on. The scoreboard stayed 1-0. By final whistle, the match had set, or tied, numerous records like the highest number of cards in a World Cup match with 20 cards, 16 yellow plus 4 red. In Portuguese quotes after the game, Coach Scolari said he had never experienced a match ending with just 9 players. Many commentators and fans called the match absurd, a game of no fair play, and South American in climate, European in dysfunction. Media reports were brutal. They said things like cleats bashed into thighs and shoulders, elbows flew, fouls fest, and so on. Some argued the referee's style may have exacerbated the carnage. Ivanov was accused of being inconsistent. Some fouls got punished, others didn't. The sheer volume of bookings diluted the deterrent effect. On the Dutch side, critics pointed to Boularouz's reckless tackling, Van Bommel's early booking, and general indiscipline. On the Portuguese side, Deco and Costanha's sendings and Figo's aggression drew ire. Portugal advanced to the quarterfinals, but they lost players like Deco and Costanha through suspension for the next match against England. The match left a lasting legacy. It's often cited among the dirtiest matches ever played, a cautionary tale of discipline, refereeing, and escalation. Some fans even point out the surreal image near the end. Van Bronckhorst, Deco, Boularouz sitting together in the stands watching the final minutes, the so-called bad boys' corner. To this day, the match remains a benchmark or anti-benchmark for what can go wrong when competitiveness, bad temper, and poor control converge. Portugal's approach was simple. After the goal, they shifted to a more defensive, counter-attacking shape. With reduced numbers, they tightened marking, slowed play, and absorbed Dutch pressure. Their mental resilience was tested. To maintain focus amid chaos is extremely difficult, and the Netherlands had a big challenge. They needed to press forward, break through a stubborn defense, exploit numerical advantage, but discipline issues handicapped them. Their frustration turned into rashness. Instead of composed, clinical attacks, they edged toward reckless aggression. Ivanov's early booking suggested he meant to control the game, but as fouls multiplied, issuing cards became commonplace rather than exceptional. Some believe that by overusing cards, the referee lost authority. Players learned that many fouls would simply result in a yellow, so they pushed the boundaries. The risk with this booking everything approach is that a card becomes expected rather than a deterrent. The first red for Costanha before halftime fractured Portugal's structure, and yet paradoxically galvanized them. For the Netherlands, each failed attempt, every stoppage and mounting bookings added weight and fatigue, not just physical but mental. In high-tension games, small incidents erupt into battles of ego, not just tactics. In effect, the match became a microcosm of how discipline, temperament, and refereeing philosophy can distort football itself. Why does this match still fascinate, nearly 2 decades later? Because it shows the extremes, how quickly a football match can shift into a war of attrition, how fine the line is between competitiveness and chaos, because it remains a record holder and not for anything beautiful. It's also a reminder to players, coaches, and referees. Control matters. Restraint, respect, discipline. When those fail, the sport suffers. From a Portuguese perspective, the match is remembered as one of their most courageous World Cup wins. From the Dutch side, it's a source of regret, questions, frustrations, and what-ifs. In broader football culture, Portugal versus Netherlands was absurd, a game with absolutely no fair play, as Scolari himself reportedly described it. In ranking dirtiest matches ever, it routinely appears near the top. If football is supposed to balance art and conflict, this match skewed too far toward conflict. Yet even in that darkness, the tension, the drama, the human element, fear, aggression, willpower, still make it gripping. Thanks for watching this deep dive into one of football's darkest spectacles. If you enjoyed this video, like, subscribe, hit the bell, and let me know in the comments. Which match do you think deserves the title Dirtiest Ever? And would you want me to cover more of these infamous matches? Next time, we'll look at a match that redeemed itself, where brilliant play overcame dirty tactics. Until then, remember, football is beautiful, but sometimes its ugliness is unforgettable.